looking at the review of the Dodge Charger Daytona EV. I've seen pictures of it. I've seen it at the auto show. A muscle car that's electric. That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. A muscle car that's built to being a fast muscle car turned into a battery. That's not even a real car no more. It's kind of trash to me, but we're gonna see. He say it's a flop. We gonna see in the video. If you're new to the channel and haven't hit that sub button, make sure you hit that sub button, y'all. With that being said, let's get into it.
So on the surface, the idea is actually really simple. I've talked about it before. The types of cars that are best to go electric are the ones where it would be the best version ever. Being electric means the car.
I think the best cars to go electric is just common pedestrian cars, like just the regular pedestrian cars, like the sports cars.
It's going to be bigger, and it's going to have more power, and it'll be swifter than ever before. And so, how about a muscle car, right? The Dodge Charger Daytona is perfect to go electric. It's enormous. It's got a ton of power. You want it to go fast in a straight line. It's going to be big and heavy anyway, so perfect. But the execution on this, look, I can tell it was supposed to be fun, but it didn't actually end up being that good of a car, which is kind of a bummer. You'll see why. This is also the first time I've come out to a car that's already on and making noise, because...
Oh, that's the car? I thought that was the wind.
I think you can tell why. Anyway, let's start with the basics. So you've seen a Dodge Charger before, right? Pretty popular vehicle. This is just the electric one. So, massive, two-door, but four-seater coupe, but very much feels like a sedan. We'll get to that in a second, but they've offered this for a while. But the electric one means 100 kilowatt hour battery at the bottom, dual motor, all-wheel drive, 335 horsepower at each axle, and it's rated for 241 miles of range.
It's not bad, I ain't gonna lie.
We'll get to that in a second. But that means there's a front trunk as well. There's that big rear trunk, and that also means it starts at around $60,000.
This is the pricing that like gets me upset, because it's like, who got bread like this, bro? Who got bread like this?
Pack version will be around $70,000 to $75,000, and then this maxed out, max power, optioned up version is over $85,000. And I just can't emphasize enough how massive this vehicle is. So I know it's a two-door car, but
looks long.
I mean, you can tell by the camera angles and by how much of this parking spot it takes up. It's huge. It's bigger than Tesla Model S. It's absolutely massive. And I actually like a lot of the design elements here. You've got this big front spoiler, which I also saw on, I think it's the Polestar 3. I actually like a lot of the design.
See, I like this headlight right here. Usually they do the light bars and for the taillights, but they did a light bar in the front. This is nice. And then it had like the little logo flashing. It's not really flashing, but it's just camera LEDs.
Design elements here. You've got this
camera's LED and stuff, so.
Big front spoiler, which I also saw on, I think it's the Polestar 3, and I like a lot. So that's an aerodynamic element. Got these big red brakes and drilled brake pads. I think you can see a little bit of that there. Eagle Sport tires. There's your Stage 2 badge for this very expensive option with carbon fiber and some more on the inside. And then the trunk, you can tell it's an optioned up scat pack because of the spoiler back here, but then you've got the pretty classic Dodge Charger rear end. But look, we can't ignore the elephant in the room. You've probably seen the headlines at this point. This is that car that makes that noise. This is that world's loudest electric car, designed specifically for the muscleheads that like loud cars. It's supposed to sound like a gas car. And I'll let you be the judge. I mean, I've got a mic on. We'll try a couple different things. It's definitely as loud as a Charger. Matter of fact, it's 126 decibels, the same way the gas Charger is 126 decibels. But they're doing it through this massive speaker system on the back end of the car. You can see it says Fratzonic right there. It's got all these grills down here and down here. This is all called the Fratzonic chambered exhaust. And look, it is loud, and it does imitate a gas car. But God, it's an acquired taste. So here's what happens. You get in the car, you've got the keys in your pocket, and every single time you start it, it'll make a cold start sound. So foot on the brake, listen to this.
So it does a cold start every time? That's That's kind of cool, I guess.
So now the car's on and it's in regular mode, and I want to give it a few revs, but it sounds a little bit different and a little bit stronger in each mode. So this is just regular idling. It's got this sort of hum. You can almost hear the cylinders, but hold on, it gets better. So this is the drive mode selector down here. And if you switch to more aggressive drive modes, you can actually rev it. So right now in auto mode, which you can see it's in auto mode here, foot on the accelerator doesn't really do anything. But switch to a more aggressive mode, like sport mode, now.
Loud as hell. You barely tapping the gas.
It's much louder. And then if you go to track mode, it's actually at its loudest. The rumble is way stronger. I can actually, I'm not joking, I can feel the car rumbling like there was an engine behind me. It's kind of crazy. It's just as obnoxiously loud as a gas car. It doesn't sound exactly like the gas car, but I'll try to get some better clips on the smartphone's microphone.
It doesn't do anything on auto. It's like it makes the sound, but it don't give that presence. Like, you know when you hear a loud exhaust and it vibrates around you? Like, it don't do that. It's just a speaker, bro.
That's the party trick. That's the thing that it does. If you want to turn heads, if you want the looks, if you want the respect and the admiration of people who like loud cars.
But you're not. Because, let's say, you want to make it louder. You can't put an exhaust on it, so you got to put bigger speakers. That's what you got to do.
You have put some of that here. But once we get past that, the rest of the car you have to look at too. And here's the thing. Okay, I get that it's supposed to be fun. It's a muscle car. It's not supposed to be super practical. But there are a couple things about this car that challenge it when it comes to actually justifying it, especially when you heard that price tag before. This car I'm testing is $85,000.
$85,000.
Okay? Keep in mind, you could
can get
the gas charger. You could get some other EVs. First things first, it is essentially a body that they fit the electric powertrain into, that they also fit a gas powertrain into. So there are some quirks about it, like this center console in the middle is pretty massive. Like a ground-up EV wouldn't have this enormous center console for the drivetrain. It has some storage in there, but I feel like that's missing a little bit. Also, let me show you the front trunk. The front trunk it's comically small. I honestly would never use it. The fact that you have to pop it and then lift it up and you get that amongst all of that.
You can't make it bigger, bro?
I mean, yeah, you can put a backpack in there, basically.
Shit, useless.
Maybe some groceries, but
you can't put a suitcase back there.
Yeah, I don't think many people are going to be doing that with this car. So it doesn't feel like a ground-up EV. This is a really cool paint, though. This is a nice, like, blue-green with some flecks in it. But then I'm trying to think, okay, what are the exact reasons? What are the exact people who would want to get this car, and why would they get it? Okay,
Nobody.
Reason number one, performance. It is the electric version of the Charger after all, but a muscle car's got to have the power. And when you hit that boost button, or you do a launch, or you're in track mode, 670 horsepower in all-wheel drive is no joke. It's very quick. 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds.
That is
Just
fast.
makes it the fastest Charger that you can get.
and
Quarter
more
mile
is
is like
fast.
11.5 seconds. But for $86,000, if that's really what you're after is straight line performance, a Tesla Model 3 Performance kind of smokes this, actually. Even Kia EV6 GT beats this. A Tesla Model Y Performance is on par with this. None of those cost $86,000. Matter of fact, for 80 grand, you could get a used Plaid if that's what you really want, is straight line speed. So maybe that's not the only reason you get this. Now, I know it's not road trips, right? Like, this is a muscle car. It's built to be muscle car-y. It's not efficient at all. So I know it's got a 100 kilowatt hour battery in it, but have you seen these tires? These are 305s at the front and then 325s at the back, even though they're all seasons. Like this is not set up for efficiency. It's rated for 241 miles of range, like I said. You wanna know something funny? I plugged it in for the first time, woke up in the morning in my garage with 100% battery, and it said 201.
Oh no.
201 miles. And then
That's
I switched
terrible.
to sport mode and it said 185. Now that was a very conservative estimate, but the idea here is this car only charges at 183 kilowatts and it only has a sub 250 mile range, which you could get 250, but yeah, I know it's not for road trips. Now here's another bit of maybe a hot take, but if you're getting it for the noise, you could actually do better. It's not, look, it's cool that it's really loud, and I get that they wanted to appeal to the nice car, it's really loud crowd.
It looks good, but this is just not.
But a couple things. First of all, it doesn't sound
louder.
as good as the gas car, so if you just want the noise, you'll just get the gas car. Second of all,
the feeling,
so
you
it
don't
doesn't,
get that feeling.
It doesn't shift, so it just has sort of this linear sound. It doesn't go up, it goes up and down a little bit as you get more or less G's, but as you're cruising around, it sort of just ends up droning, and it sounds like you're just riding around in like second gear all the time. Up and down hills, flat streets, slowing down, accelerating. It's like you're just staying in second gear.
Look at the sunroof though.
You guys remember the Ioniq 5N, which also did this imitation sound and did a lot of things gas cars do? You could paddle shift and like roll through gears, and I think part of the fun of the sound of a car is dropping a gear and like playing with the sound. And you don't really get to play with the sound in this other than just making it be loud, revving in neutral, maybe at a stoplight. It's fun at first, but then I think you pretty quickly get over it, and I just turn it off. I ended up just wanting to turn it off. The fun factor is part of it, but here's another fun fact. Actually, it's a not so fun fact. The Charger, which is kind of known for like that standing burnout, rear wheel drive, crazy tire smoke show you want to put on at a stoplight for you insane people who do that. This car is not actually capable of that. It does have a drift mode. You can turn off the front motor and go rear wheel drive, but it's too heavy, 5,900 pounds, and not powerful enough, 335 pounds at the rear axle, to do a standing burnout at all. So yeah, the fun factor is just still, you still crown the gas car the king of that part. So here's what it ended up being good at. I drove this thing for a week. I commuted in it every day, and that's what it's good at. It's just a comfortable cruiser. Look at this enormous door, okay? I know it's a 4-seater, but this one huge door is their thing.
It does look
nice.
You
get
inside,
in, and you're surrounded by a pretty plush interior. Like, it's actually well made. It's got Alcantara up here. It's got leather on the steering wheel. These big seats are really comfortable. The back seats have a lot of room and are comfortable too. You start it up. Okay, you do the whole cold start noise thing, but whether you have the noise on or off, this is suddenly like a really, really spacious, really roomy, comfortable cruiser. The suspension, it rides nice. In sport mode, in regular mode, it's soft, it's very forgiving in a way that a lot of sports cars are not. And then there's just this massive visibility, these big doors and windows, you've got a glass sunroof, you've got a ton of storage. That rear hatch, it's actually a hatchback. So you have a ton of trunk space too. And so this ends up just being a nice car to, it sounds crazy, but just go get groceries in, go pick up the kids in, go to commute every day a few miles. It's not a ton of range.
It's a good dealie
in this thing.
It's a good
dealie. It's got wireless CarPlay going on here. I've got a wireless charger for my phone right here that actually sits in place and lines up.
So basically, this EV is basically doing what it is. You just get the name. You're just paying for the name. Dodge Charger Daytona. That's what you're paying for.
I'm not in love with these haptic buttons,
for the
but
name.
they're functional. They work. I can turn the fan speed up or down pretty easily. I kind of know what I'm getting into here. The back of the paddle shifters, like in a lot of these Dodge cars, I have a volume control back here and next track and previous track back here. The power shot to boost power for a little bit, but honestly, I don't feel the need to do that in this car.
Battery.
It's not one of those cars that begs to go faster or begs to be pushed performance-wise. It's very much a large, electric, comfortable cruiser. There's even a pretty good isolation to the outside world with this double pane glass. You got these LED lights, carbon fiber. These lights are really nice and light up at night, and you can see them really, really clearly.
That's not bad.
The speakers are not that good, unfortunately, but I think everything else about this as just a daily, calm, relaxed.
It looks nice though. Like this looks nice. Like this right here looks nice. And then they got the carbon with the LEDs around it.
Boat of a ride are,
It's a
are
long
legit.
car, though.
So I know that's
A
maybe
long
not the
car.
conclusion you expect people to get to with this car.
long
Also
car.
fun weird quirk about it is because this is such a big door and the pillar is way back here, the reach for the seatbelt is kind of diabolical, but you'll get there. But I know that's not the conclusion I think most people are going to get to with the new electric Dodge Charger, is that it's nice, comfortable, relaxed cruiser, because it's supposed to be fun. And I get that this was supposed to be fun. The noise, the muscle, the looks, the shoulders. It's supposed to be this badass sporty thing, but you turn the sound off and it's actually kind of just a boat.
Just a boat.
It was supposed to be fun, but if you want a boat, there you go.
That's fire. But you made it to the end of the video. Hit that sub button. It's your boy Johnny Finesse. I'm gonna holla at y'all.